Hello, it's Ania from Ania Photo. I just want to quickly show you what have I done lately. It was a beautiful weather in UK and on bank holiday May, and we took the full advantage of it after a full day of picnicking and having a lovely time out. I gave my son a bath and I thought, I still want to go out. I've seen those dandelions on the side of the road and I've seen the light is just magical. It always makes me feel so sad when I have to stay home, and I think, oh, it would be just magical session for someone. Or so my son often is dragged out and bribed with lots of little sweets and things. But he's good now. He's not as bad as like a 2-year-old. So here is our result. So we just came out round the corner in that green patch, and I thought these daisies look really adorable. And the most important is that light at the back here. I wanted to see what it's going to look like. So I used my 50mm lens Canon ISO 100, and I went on the aperture as low as I could. Okay, and it was quite high, time 6/40 of a second. It has to be quite high because otherwise it will be blown out. Luckily you can go quite high on this one, and if you put that aperture number 1.2, the lowest it goes, it just opens and gives you that magical look. So this is the grass we've been taking pictures of around here, and this is the end image I took of my son and edited. It gives you that nice composition. Even there is this house in the background. I don't know if you remember here, and distractions. This lens, because we shot on a 1.2, it gives you that beautiful bokeh, that lovely difference between far back, so it becomes inverted, almost blurry. So bokeh effect, and especially the light, those little circles, is really lovely. And lots of people always ask, how do you make that blurry? So there are a few factors. There's an f number. You want to go as low as you can on your aperture. You want to be close enough to your subject so it's a different in distance, and it makes the difference of the lens and the settings. So I don't edit that blur. Lots of people do have the technique when they kind of post-process and they make it blurry in a post-processing, but I think if you do it straight out of a camera, it's even better and just saves you time. I don't really want to sit all day and edit all of those to look like that. So this is what we started with. It's a raw image, so I always want to shoot raw. Means your image is not processed, and you have some areas you can actually move. It's not limiting you, where a JPEG is already processed image, and when you make a difference, it is destructive for your pixels for your work. So this is what we started from. I do have my presets that I made myself that are making my work super easy. So you can see it's almost edited when I do that, but I'm going to show you a different way you can do it. So here what I would do, if I would completely manually edit that, I want to maybe bring a tad of an exposure, tad of a contrast. Everything is done by eye, so I can't tell you, oh yeah, 5+ or 5-. It's a bit like cooking. Some dishes you have to just taste it and see what it comes with. Okay, so highlights you want to bring down, even it's quite even lit image, you got some reflex at the back, you want to bring it down, bring your shadows tiny bit up, whites down, and blacks just a little bit up, not too much. You want to look at the face, especially if you like the colors and exposure and everything on the face. That's a good start. They're not changing anything here. sharpening is already on 25. I wouldn't touch that. I don't like over sharpened images. Okay, so that's done in Lightroom, and we're going to open that in Photoshop. Edit in Photoshop. Goodness, I got lots of birds singing today. It's another beautiful day here. So let's come up closer, and we see there's a few things we want to maybe remove by our patch tool right here in the toolbox, and it's very simple to use. You just go around and drag it over the empty space. It doesn't always work, especially if you have a pattern area, let's say some check shirt or something. You have to be very, very small in the area you edit. Okay, and here it doesn't have to be super precise, super smooth. It's a little boy. Okay, maybe something that is really distracting. The patch tool does pretty good job. It has really evolved over time. So if you have any spots, I remove them, but if there are any freckles or something that permanently is on his face, I would not touch them. This one, however, it's really distracting, and I can't remember if it's a freckle or not. Or some permanent mole, that's what they called. Okay, so that's alright. I'm gonna leave his crazy hair. If you wanted to remove those crazy hair, that's quite easy to do, or you can use stamp clone tool. That's quite good as well. Control-0 brings you back to the whole image. Okay, so what we're gonna do, Control-J, come on, Control-J, does copy that layer, and what we're gonna do, we're going to apply some levels, so image adjustment levels, and we're going to move it a little bit down, and okay, now put the mask on it, just right here. So the way the mask works, you got white and black brushes. You can swap them here, and the black one takes it off, the white one brings it back on. So we bring that opacity down, and just ever so gently, just around our subject, not a tiny circle, because then you're gonna see that it's not natural. So that will do. Just make it smaller, make sure it's on his face especially, and layer, flatten. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we're going to brighten him a bit and add a little bit of pink, because he's got a little bit of a green cast on his face, even though it's not very leafy. It's got a little bit here. I don't know if you can notice that. So let's Control-J again. It will bring that layer, and the good idea is to have it so you have that extra control. You can always turn it down with your opacity. So filter, camera raw filter, and we're gonna use our brush, adjustment brush. You see there are some settings already here. It could be all over the place. So you just come back here and reset local settings. Also, if it's something you often do, you can save those settings. Where do you do that? I can't remember now. Here, and new local correction settings, I think, and it will let you save it. So let's have a go. I'm going to add a little bit of pink and a little bit of exposure, and let's bring it a little closer for a better view. And if we go over his face, it does apply that, gets rid of our green cast, and maybe just you can adjust it after, which is great. And because you have double layer, you can always kind of get rid of the mistakes you've made. So that's a nice level Don't want to go over completely, just where the light is hitting. That's good. And I'm happy with that. Just a bit more on here. Okie dokie. You see, it immediately brightening him up. And what we could do, put another mask on that. And just get rid of that little area here we went over as over bright. Are we on 100%? And just take it off. Have I done too much? No. That's fine. And layer. Flatten image. Control J. Another layer. Image adjustment. Curves. And just lift it up ever so gently. And here down. Gives that extra little oomph. We're happy with that. Layer flatten. One more trick I'm going to show you, which is one of my favorites. I hope it's going to work. It has jammed last time somehow. So we got a brush and we're just going to paint. You're going to choose something like a light brown, not too dark, nothing black. And remember, because you're painting on that layer, you can always change that. So just like that, and then corners nicely, and take opacity down and just a little bit over here. You don't want to really put it on your subject. I'll show you. You might think she's crazy, what is going on. You're going here into soft light and change that setting. Now that is way too much. That's why we have that opacity. We can turn it down. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a lot. You see the difference? And the more layers and layers and layers you apply and do things, the more settled and natural it's going to look. So you don't want to add anything very drastic. What you could do, because you've been working on this for, we've been working on this for a while, you might want to go and have a little walk, a little cup of tea or something, and then come back to it and look with a fresh eye. Okay, alright, we're happy with that. Layer, flatten, and I think I'm going to bring everything a little bit lighter. Maybe I'll file, save, and I'm coming back to my Lightroom, and you can see it has saved that here, and this is where I do all my exporting. So this is kind of my library of all my images, and whenever I work on Photoshop I save. Now I can close it now, make sure you save, and then you come back here so you have it. Okay, so that looks pretty good. How is that different to what I've done with my preset? It's got a slightly different tone, a bit lighter. So we can still maybe just bring a touch, touch of that pink and a little bit more exposure. Okay, and that's similar, slightly different tone again. I quite like it. This one seems quite cool now, so I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. But let's see before and after our hand edit. So that's before, it looks quite murky and slightly flat. And this is what we've done. We added that depth, we changed the skin tone. This is how we do it. I have another images, and I would edit this one exactly the same way. But I just wanted to show you another one of those daisies. It's a fun way. So that's, for example, you can just put the child, if it let you, on the back, and that becomes a beautiful background. So that was before. I'm not sure if that's the same image, but that's before look and after. And again, I would edit that exactly the same way. Okay, thank you so much, and please subscribe to my channel. I'll be adding some more videos, and let me know in comments what would you like to see next, what edits, what information. I would love to create some more tutorials for you. Take care, have a lovely day.